I used to do this when I first started because I didn't really know any better, and I thought I slayed, I'm not gonna lie. Hi guys, and welcome back to this episode of Skilled. Today we're going to talk about the apex bead because the apex bead was something I struggled with so much, and I honestly had no idea how important the apex bead was. So a lot of my nails just came out looking super flat. It was not flattering, but also the structure of the nail was compromised. At that time I was servicing a lot of my friends and my family members just so I could get a little bit more practice, and a lot of them would call me and be like, oh my gosh, like the nails fell off or the nails broke, and I would be so confused why. So every time I looked at videos of people doing nails, I was like, why is it that they just have this like beautiful structured apex, and no matter what I did, just didn't have an apex. My nails were flat. So today I'm gonna help you guys break that down so that you can learn how to properly build the structure of the nail, which is one of the most important ones, the apex. But first, I did want to show you guys something really special. So last year we ran for a limited time only a build your own acrylic bundle where you do enjoy an extra 25% off of all the things that you put into this bundle. And this build your own acrylic starter kit sold like crazy, and I want to show you guys what I got because I needed a little bit of a top up. So right before I left for my holiday, I did go to the website and I built my own acrylic bundle because I needed some top ups, and it came super fast. So it came actually while I was on vacation. So when I came back, I was so excited to check my mailbox. So little side note here, I've actually already opened up my box because I was so excited to get back and like get all my products. But when it does come, it usually has like wrapping paper. There's like all this stuff in there to protect it during shipping. So how does the build your own bundle kits work? So first, you want to pick 3 of your favorite acrylic powders or just any 3 of your choice. So I'm going to show you guys what colors I got. I got a refill on Ivory Lace because I go through this so much. It's just a really pretty like snowy white. I also got Nectar Blush, and Nectar Blush is a very pretty like peachy pink tone. Also, I wanted to pick like a natural looking nude that's beautiful for all my Frenchies, so I chose Buttery Cream as my next color. And then you pick your own Kolinsky brush size. So I already have the size 8 and then the size 12, and then I think I also have the size 16, but I don't have the size 10, so I ended up getting the size 10 Kolinsky brush as well because this is actually one of my favorites for beginners to work with, and I do want to start filming a little bit more content using my number 10 just because so many of you guys love the number 10. Then you choose your nail tips. So I chose the extra long square, and then you can get the 3 different shapes, stiletto or coffin, and you can get that in C curve or non-C curve. And then for my monomer, I chose the 8 ounce. There's 3 different sizes. There's the 8 ounce, the 16 ounce, and then the 32 ounce, and then also a facet in 16 ounce. And then I also did get some additional essentials as well. So I got the Ultra Bond and the Ultra Prep set, and then I also grabbed a velvet matte top coat. There's also a glossy version. And then I also ended up adding a 100/180 hand file to my kit as well, and then it comes in a pack of 10. So make sure you guys don't use the same hand file on multiple clients. It's dangerous. So I did get a pack of 10, which should last me for a little bit. Okay, let's jump straight into it. So we're going to go ahead and first cut our nail tips. I'm not going to do any prep since this is just a mannequin hand. With nail tips, this is like a really quick tip for you guys. If you're someone who has been taking forever in your appointments, I'm going to show you guys a really quick tip so that you can manage your time a little bit better. So we're going to use one of these magnets on here. Buy them from Amazon. They're like the tiny little magnets. What this is going to help you do is to speed up your nail cutting process, because now all of your nails are going to be the exact same length without you having to make your clients go like this, and then like this. It's like a whole thing. So let's do that. And then for my powder today, I'm going to be using Buttery Cream from MakarttPro. This is a really pretty like darker nude color, and it's just so natural. I think it's one of my most beautiful bases for any natural looking like French nails. Look at how pretty that color is though. So beautiful. And I just love watching the polymerization process. Now let's take that off of our brush and let's jump straight into what not to do. So I used to do this when I first started because I didn't really know any better, and I thought I slayed, I'm not gonna lie. So I would go and apply my acrylic, right? Let's pick up our first bead, and then I would also not wait for the polymerization process. I just go straight in, and I went like this, and I started to pull on my acrylic. You guys can see how runny the consistency is going to be. And then I just started swiping. This is giving me like so much trauma just thinking about this. Getting like PTSD. Look at this. Look at my brush. And no matter what I did to wipe off my brush, I just kept getting more and more in there. And the overall nail was just so thin. You can literally see through this nail right now, you guys. And then I would just keep wiping, and then I would get so much acrylic inside my brush, and then as I went into my monomer, my acrylic was also traveling back inside my monomer, making my monomer very milky. So overall, yeah, it was not the best. In fact, it was pretty horrible. Okay, so then going into the apex bead, I would literally do the same exact thing, but I would pick up a medium-sized bead, so like a smaller bead, and let's go straight in. I would place it down. I wouldn't even do this. I would just start brushing. And then I would do everything to try to like blend in that bead. And I was also trying to work so fast because in my mind, I'm like, oh, acrylic like dries super fast. My brush is turning into like rock solid as we speak, by the way. So I do this. So if your acrylic application looks something like this, don't worry because we're going to help you guys with that. Okay, so now I have my uber thin nail. All right, going straight into my cuticle bead. It was essentially just the same exact method. Pick up my bead, now it's a little smaller at least, and I would bring it to my cuticles and I would just start brushing, brushing, brushing. And I always brushed all the way at the very top to the bottom, like this. There's a little bit of cuticle flooding. Notice how my brush right now is a complete mess. And also I was just overexposing a lot of my customers, or I guess myself in that case, to so much monomer. It was like all over their cuticles and I thought I slayed. So as you guys can see, there is a flat nail, no apex at all. This has no structure. The nail just does not look good. So as you guys can see, there's already a lot of acrylic starting to get hardened inside my brush. So I want to fix this before I do anything else. Let's bring out the brush cleaner. So this is a brush cleaner from MakarttPro. This is super handy dandy if you are a beginner nail tech because trust me, we all got to start somewhere. Never clean your brush in acetone. When you clean your brush in acetone, acetone will dry out the bristles. If you're buying brush cleaner from Amazon and it has acetone in there as an ingredient, it's the wrong brush cleaner. It is not made for Klinsky brushes. It's fine to use it on like an art brush where the bristles are like synthetic and you don't really care because they're so much cheaper anyway, but never on a Klinsky brush. The brush cleaner that I'm using here is from MakarttPro, and the main ingredient in there is MEK, which stands for methyl ethyl ketone. Methyl ethyl ketone has a lower boiling temperature than acetone, and that's why it's not going to dry out your bristles. And also it's a much more effective solvent than acetone, so therefore you're also not overexposing your bristles for that much longer because you don't need to soak it in there forever for it to do its job. In fact, it's pretty quick. Okay, and as you can see, my bristles are already clean. They're rehydrated, reconditioned, and they're ready to go now. Okay, so what should we be doing instead? Let's review our 3-bead application model. So the first bead we're picking up is a slightly bigger bead. So with a slightly bigger bead, this is going to help you build out a nice free edge. Your free edge should be thin, but not paper thin where it's like basically see-through. It just has to be like the comparatively thinner part of the nail. So let's take our acrylic bead and we're gonna wait for it to polymerize. Do you guys see how it's starting to get nice and shiny? Place that down on the nail, hold 1, 2, 3, lift and down, wipe the brush, and we're gonna pat the acrylic inwards. Okay, use only a tapping motion. We're very lightly tapping. We're not going crazy. There's no brushing happening. And then as the acrylic starts to feel like it's starting to stiffen up and you have the acrylic in all the places that it needs to be, that's when you can start swiping. Any excess, you can push that in and then you can flick it out. You'll notice that when you're swiping on your acrylic after it's starting to like stiffen up, there should be nothing getting inside your brush as long as you're keeping your acrylic brush parallel to the client's nails as you're swiping. So look, there's nothing in my brush, nice and clean. And also the mouth of my brush is fully closed. Okay, when you start getting acrylic stuck inside the brush, the mouth will open itself out. As you can see, it's pretty closed, which is exactly what we're looking for. Very quickly, let's just compare the tip. And as you can already see, this one has a much thicker tip and it still maintains the structure of the nail that it needs. Now, let's move into the actual apex bead. It's kind of the same concept when you're working with the apex bead, but 3 things I want you to remember. Number 1 is I want you, when you're blending, to swipe from the sides. Number 2, when you're working on the top part of the apex, I want you to almost angle your brush a little bit and then tap it in like this. This is going to blend in that apex bead for you. And then number 3, I want you to not rush and just make sure that you're allowing your acrylic bead to kind of stiffen a little before you start going at it. So let's pick up a medium-sized bead, fully submerge the brush into the dappen dish. We're going to tap off in the middle of the brush for a medium-sized bead. 45-degree angle into your powder, tap, and 1 bounce. And flip it around. Let it polymerize a little bit before you start going at it. Okay, and now let's place the acrylic bead down, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lift. Wipe the brush. Tap the acrylic from the top at an angle first, just to blend it in. Then now push the acrylic from the 2 sides into the middle. Try not to start by swiping. We're only doing a very nice patting motion. And then you can start swiping from the sides, swipe from the sides, and then blend your way into the middle. Once you start using this method where you're going from the side and working into the middle, your apex should start having a beautiful, beautiful shape to it. There we go. And as you guys can see, the apex now is a lot more pronounced than this one, which is basically just non-existent. Look at the side comparisons. Okay. And now let's move into our cuticle bead. The cuticle bead is just a small bead, right? I have a specific video on the cuticle bead, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but you're definitely welcome to watch. Take that cuticle bead up, point the client fingers downwards when you're doing this. Wipe the brush and work on flushing the client's cuticles into, or the bead into their client's cuticles. And then you're going to do the same exact thing. Blend from the side, blend from the other side, blend, blend, blend. If you have excess product, you can go ahead and take that away. Okay, and now your acrylic application should look something like this. Let's take it to a side view. As you can see, one has a proper structure, the other one has no structure. Your apex bead should taper down towards the tip and give you a thickness. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but do we all know why you need an apex? The reason why you need an apex and where to actually place down your apex, I don't think I actually covered this. But if you take your free edge and you just kind of like push it like this, you'll notice that a little bit closer to kind of like the base of the nail, or I guess the tip of the nail, the skin underneath starts to turn white. The reason is because that's the pressure point of your nail. So when your nails break, it breaks right there. Most people will think like, oh, like if you break a nail, it'll break at like the tip where it doesn't hurt. No, it'll usually break right where the nail bed area is, closer to the tip, but it's still live skin there, and underneath that is your finger, so it'll definitely hurt. So the apex basically balances it out to create structure for the weakest point in your nail. The longer your nails are, the bigger the apex needs to be. If your clients tell you that they don't want a big apex, listen, your apex does not need to be like ginormous, but it has to be there. And generally speaking, the longer the nail, the bigger and the lower the apex needs to go. All right, guys, and that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Skilled, and that our series is helping you guys to improve your acrylic application and just general nail knowledge as a beginner nail tech. Just a really quick PSA, if you liked any of the products that I'm using today, you can definitely find them in the links below. You'll see all of our different products that I use listed out in all of our videos. And just a quick reminder, we are currently running a sale on our website at MakarttPro.com for up to 30% off using the code ILOVEMakarttPro. So take advantage of the sale, and I hope to see you guys all on our next episode of Skilled.